Okay, part 3 of school experiences. So yeah, I don't know exactly where I left it off, but I think I left it off on being friends with that girl. And yeah, um public school. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, I want to say I had like my brother's friends' children as friends. Like, I had like, not really like friends at school, but had another, I did have one friend. Her name was Tynesha, and she was a black girl too. And, because I have more memories of hanging out with them. Like, when we played that, I don't even know what it's called anymore. When we played the, guess who patted your shoulder game, I'd always picked her and she always picked me. And yeah, like that was our thing. And we just, she, I was my sister's boyfriend's cousin. So yeah, I spent time with her in school and then out of school when I moved to a different classroom, because I did get held back once, I think. And I just remember like seeing my old classmates in another class and like in line, and they just all looked at me really confused, like, what are you doing over there? And I'd just be like, hi, and I don't know, I'm just here. Like, I don't really know. So, yeah, she, we would always play like house together. House, where we just pretend to be husband and wife, or take care of a baby doll. It's just girl stuff. Like, little girls do that thing all the time. You have like a little playhouse, and you have like your dolls, and you can play with your dolls and like things like that. And then when I went over to her house, that's when I kind of like, I experienced, I guess, yeah, I did experience kind of like racism with like Vidasia and stuff. And like when I went to her house, her neighborhood was just all blacks, like all blacks, her neighborhood. And it's just like, it's not that far from where I live. Like, it's like, you have the town, and then after the town, there's like these little like apartments, and it's all, yeah. And when I went over there to play with her and hang out with her, I did get like, we were at the like little playground area, and I got like this like short little kid, but like, I don't know, he probably was our age, but like maybe like a year younger, maybe, I don't know. And like, I just remember I was playing with her, and this kid just started to like be super hateful and like say mean comments like to me, and like say like, I don't even remember what was really said, but just like really hateful things to me. And then like I looked at like, because I was just like, oh my god, I didn't know there was another kid there, so I was a little like freaked out at first. And then like I looked at her, and she looked at me, and he's just like being mean to me, and then like, just hateful. And then he started to pick up sand on the playground, because there was sand, and he started to throw it at me. And then I didn't know. I was like, whoa. And then Tynesha, she started to pick up she started to pick up the sand back and throw it back at him. And she was defending me. And then I went, okay. And then I picked up the sand and I threw it back at him. And, like, yeah, that was kind of like a first, like, whoa, moment. And then when I went to my sister, or I went to her house, went into the apartment thing, you know, her mom was there, but we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything until I got to my house, and then I was like laying in my bed, and I was upset. Like, I was upset, but I was scared. Like, I was scared to tell what happened at the same time. 'Cause, yeah, and my sister was like, they found sand in my hair. And I think that's when they started asking me, where'd you get all this, like, sand in your hair? Like, I don't know. Like, we were just, like, picking through my hair. And, you know, like, I told my mom. And then she was like, oh, you should tell your sister or something. And I tried telling my sister. I was like, you know, yeah, this kid threw sand at me and Tynesha. And, like, you know, he was just saying a lot of hateful things. And, she was just, like, pissed that I didn't tell her right away. And she was mad that, like, she was just mad that I didn't tell her right away, and that was it. Like, it's like, you should have come to me. I would have beaten him up. I'm like, and I think I remember my mom, like, thinking, he's a little kid, like, you know, whatever. And then I would have done this. I would have figured out where his parents are and blah, blah, blah. You know, all this stuff. And yeah. Yeah, that's what I had to deal with, but I don't know. But yeah, she and I were good friends, and we would go, and my mom's told me that I think before we became really, like, I guess, I don't know, before we became like actual close, I guess, she told me that, like, I do remember things, like, my sister ignored me a lot, and she would buy gifts for Tynesha, or like little kids that were like her boyfriend's family, cousins and stuff. And then, like, I was the same age as all of them, and, like, my sister didn't want to hang out with me, but she wanted to, like, hang out with the other family. And so my mom had to, like, really talk to her and be like, you need to, like, spend time with your sister. But every time she did that, my sister would be super annoyed. And then when I was with her, I didn't want to be with her because she was just angry all the time, because she didn't want to hang out with me at all. She didn't want to hang out with me. And, like, she'd take me to, like, the movie theaters with Tynesha, and, like, that was fine. It's only when, like, I was just with her alone, I didn't like it, you know. Like, we saw Ice Age, and we saw, like, I don't know, some other movie, but I just remember we saw Ice Age too. And yeah. And what else? But yeah, I think that's when, like, I really had, like the scary, like, racism, really. Like, I mean, yeah, I got punched too, but, like, then I got that too with the sand. And he was just, like, super hateful and calling me white and calling me this, and just for, like, a little kid. It was, like, probably 7. You know, But anywho, when I moved to well, after that, I was just mostly homeschooled, and I really hated that too. I really hated being homeschooled because there was nothing my mom could really do for me, like, because we do homeschooling and we are living in hell. Like when she tries to homeschool me, she used to just like print out things for me and put them on the table, and we'd work together with them, and she'd buy books, and then she would just sit with me and we would work with them. And mom was just like really patient, and then not anymore. Like it got to the point where we couldn't, she gave up, and because my brother would just always be destructive and interrupt us and constantly needing attention, like making noises just to be annoying, like on purpose. You just be annoying on purpose. And so then my mom got frustrated, and then she stopped doing it. And then I started getting addicted to the computer. And then like how I learned how to write and how I learned how to kind of read a bit better was from the computer, Firefox, and auto-correcting, memorizing words to type it out. And that's kind of how I learned, like just by myself, was just learning from that. And then after that, it was a private school, because it got to the point where she was like, oh, we need to do something for you. And, we decided we should take you to private school. And she said, this is going to be a different private school. It's not going to be like, uniforms and strict things and, all that stuff. And I was like, okay. She said it's going to be like it's called a democratic school. It's kind of like just being in college, where you, you go to your own classes and you do whatever, and you don't need to raise your hand. You don't actually have to be in a class. It's just going to be with a teacher in a room. And then you're set. It's going to be a lot of freedom. You can wear whatever you want to wear. You can even wear shirts that, lift up a little bit above your belly button. You can, you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, that's such a big improvement from public school. I'd love to go to this school. Like, you have all the freedom. You can watch TV. You can play a video game there, and no one will care. You could chew bubble gum, and that's it. Like, you can get away with anything you want. So on like visiting the school, it's just like a really old, like 1800s building. It's about like 3 stories. And like the 3rd floor, you're just not allowed because it's like an attic or whatever. And it's just in front of the fucking traffic road with like the marketplace next door, so kids could just walk off and buy their food and then come back to the school if they want it. And if they were old enough, kids at 16 could smoke, and there was a smoking court. You could do that. Of course, my mom didn't like that rule. And what else? I mean, they had like a little play thing. Just a big open field where you could play capture the flag and soccer. And in a garage full of crap. Like, I don't know why there was a garage, but there was a garage. and it was a really hippified school, like to the T, and a mansion at that. So we met a guy. I think his name was Jordan. He was a teacher. It's Jordan or I think it was Jordan. And then his like future wife was named Thora. They had like, yeah. And he was like a really skinny guy with glasses and like a Leon hairstyle, like very hippified, very skinny, very like, chill. And the building, when you get close to it, it's just like artwork all over the walls, like farm animals. And they talk about how the kids painted this and they painted that, and you could paint this someday and you can do that, like. And so my mom interviews my mom gets in an interview with like the teachers, the adults, and she says, well, can I ask one of the students what they think about this school? And so they did. They brought a student who told how great it was, how it's really fun, blah blah blah. But turns out that student was the son of one of the teacher adults, so I feel like that might have been bias. Yeah. It's really old, musty. When you walk in, it's just the smell of must. And like books in school, like really old books that no one's gonna read. Very old, like 1800s books. I don't know how long they've been in here, but they've been there for a long time. Very old computers. Very dial-up internet, like to the T. And yeah, like you just have to wait 5 minutes for a page to load up, like literally 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending how big the website was. Very crappy. At most, I think I'm gonna say like the boys in the computer room, just for some reason the computer room had fast internet, but like outside of that, everything was really bad. Because I think they just bring their computers and laptops and like whatever they need. So yeah, the first day you just like walk around the building, and they have like a little step, and like when you walk in there's a little step and clear glass doors, and that's where you had JC. So instead of being sent to the principal, you were sent to a school meeting where kids of all ages would vote on your sentence. Yeah. And then maybe one teacher would be there as well. But anybody could watch and talk about whatever. Then after that, it would be into another like living room, hall room with a bunch of chairs where people just sit and eat. No, not really any tables, just sit and talk. And then a really tiny kitchen, like bathroom size kitchen. It's really nothing special. Piano room was the computer room, and then the upstairs you had a giant ass art room. And in the art room I just saw like a really beautiful Victorian outfit and mannequin. And I was just like in awe, like, oh, I'm allowed to use the sewing machine. Like that's how it was presented. I was allowed to like make clothes and do all this, and I was just so in awe of that. But turns out it was just a student sewing machine that you're not allowed to use. So they kind of like wind you into thinking you could do that stuff, but you really couldn't. You had your own cubbies, no safety, just open boxes. But a very giant art room, like just table alone just covered the whole freaking room, and lots of shelves to just do whatever. Infinite paper, infinite painting, infinite whatever. And then after that, more bookshelves that no one's gonna read, hallway, and, you know, a weird attic toy room attic. Like, I don't know, it was like really odd, but had 2 beds and toys across from the beds. And then after that, there was another room. And this room was like a hangout with like all the girls, like the horseback riding girls. It's just like it was again like a painted room with like animals and a couch and a table and like old jars of like, I don't know, like a heart, like an old pig's heart, pig something, like weird animal things in jars. I thought that was just kind of gross, but really ugly, dusty old decorations, I guess, when you think about it. Then after that, a really black, dark room with no lighting. The switch wouldn't work. It's just a dark room with 2 couches. It's very, like intimidating. Like, I don't know. Being in that room is like, that's where all the teenagers would just go hang out or make out. Like, and then another room, which is like the classroom with a board and a couch and a table. And all the tables look the same. Like, lightly coated brown table. So yeah, we got the description of my school. So, and then the black, dark room with no lights on turned to be staircase. And yeah, we had 2 staircases. One was just all white and one was just painted. Big giant doors to open them, and then the outside. So yeah, that's the visual. Now let's move on to the next part.